All right, I'm gonna wind it down and we're gonna kick this off. So Mick Jagger's going away, and for anybody who's on the call, welcome. Whether you are a client of Match My Emails, maybe a consultant, a partner, perhaps you work at Salesforce, or maybe you just stumbled into this live YouTube webinar from the internet. Whoever you are, welcome. We're happy to have you. This is going to be Match My Emails product update, where I'll be showing off the latest Match My Email feature. And we couldn't be more excited to release this. It's been about 2 quarters of development work in the making. The idea actually came about from one of our existing customers giving us feedback on a way we could improve the application. So for any existing customers on the call, please take that as a note. If you have things you want to see in Match My Email, let us know. We really do take your feedback into consideration. It helps us shape our product development roadmap and then drive our development pipeline. So let us know what you like about it. We always love the positive feedback, but then also let us know what you'd want to see improved going forward. Okay, some ground rules for the call. There should be a chat here. So if you have any questions, you can put your questions into the YouTube live chat, and I will answer those at the end. I'll be sharing my screen. I think that's going to make it a little bit easier to answer any of those questions in real time. So first things first, before I release this feature and tell everybody about it, if you are on the call and you don't know what Match My Email is, or you're not as familiar with the application as one of our customers might be, we are an ISV partner of Salesforce, independent software vendor. We are aiming to fix email and calendar integration for Salesforce. So we have an automated cloud solution, and we take the non-plugin approach to email integration, which essentially just means you're not going to see that side panel in Gmail or Outlook. Your end users are not going to have to take any action for us to log emails and calendar events automatically into Salesforce. They don't have to do anything manually. It all happens in the background, taking the responsibility off of their shoulders. Second thing to highlight, reliability and flexibility of our application. Without naming any of the competition out there, I'd say there is a well-known app that doesn't actually keep your email data in Salesforce permanently, and it's actually not even stored on the same server with the rest of your Salesforce data. Match My Email is reliable in that it actually uploads the data to your Salesforce server, and it's stored there unless you or an admin decides to delete it later on. On the flexibility side of things, Match My Email can match to custom objects. A lot of folks choose Salesforce as their CRM because of its customization. We can match and work with those custom objects you're working with. Another example might be matching to multiple email addresses under a lead or a contact record. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more on the customization front. Last point is Salesforce is a behemoth of a CRM. We say we're the fly on the elephant's back in a lot of ways. And we use Salesforce, and we want people that use Salesforce to get more out of the CRM. So trying to empower Salesforce admins with existing Salesforce tools is one of our goals. And one way we do that is allowing admins to use native activity reports in Salesforce off of the email data that we upload. The other way I'd point out is Salesforce has put a lot of effort into improving their no-code or low-code automations through flows. With Match My email data, you can create flows, set triggers, and work with what Salesforce is already bringing to the table. So that's a bit of background about Match My Email. Let's get to the meat and the reason why everybody's here. So I did put on the stones, but I can't promise you the dancing that was from the famous Windows 95 launch. And for anybody out there who doesn't know what that is, it only created the best GIF or meme of all time, I'd say. But in the whole, our team is just as excited as Bill Gates and his team were back in the 90s to release this. So without further ado, I present to all of our users the Email Sync Assistant. The Email Sync Assistant is a Lightning web component used for Salesforce Lightning that you'll be able to place on any Lightning record page. We imagine our users are going to put it primarily on the Home tab in Salesforce, but it's available to put anywhere you'd like. Part of that beauty of Salesforce customization. The goal here is the Lightning Web Component is going to recommend leads and contacts based off of email addresses that don't yet exist in your Salesforce org. Right? Primarily, we're trying to streamline the creation of leads and contacts. Most people, and I think most things in human nature, it's a path of least resistance. If it's difficult to add a lead or a contact, you just find people won't do it. It's really the name of our game, right? We automatically match emails, and that is just taking the responsibility off users, making it easier. And now we want to try to implement that same idea, but with adding leads and contacts. So hopefully your sales reps will get the most out of this tool, adding leads and contacts and not losing leads anymore in their inbox. And then hopefully as a side effect of all of this, you'll see user adoption of Salesforce increase. That's also one of our main goals here. But enough with the PowerPoint. I'm going to jump into a live environment where I'll show off the application in our demo org here. So here's our demo org. In the top right, you see we've placed the Email Sync Assistant on the Home tab. Before I start clicking around in here though, I'm going to go into the Match My Email dashboard, which if you're a user of Match My Email should look quite familiar, I'd hope. And this is where historically you were able to add leads and contacts based off of no-match emails, not necessarily no-match email addresses, which there's a distinction. And if you wanted to add that new lead or contact, you could have hovered over no match, clicked plus match, and then you would have had a form come up. You could have pulled the email up side by side here and then populated those fields manually, which as part of the feedback we heard, we want this automated. So going back over to the Home tab, in this org, right, I see under this queue of names here, a list of recommended leads and contacts. In a hypothetical, I've been communicating with somebody at Wild Horizon, which is an account in this org. Ben Stern, as a recommended contact or lead, he doesn't exist yet in Salesforce, but I know that the account Wild Horizon exists, and maybe he was just CC'd on an email chain, and I want to add him as a contact. I could go in here, hit that plus contact action button, which is going to pull up a compressed form. It's going to show first name, last name, email, and account name. And then in your specific org, any required fields would also automatically show up under this form here. You see we've auto-populated first name, last name, email, and account. Since the account exists, it's a nice feature, we'll actually automatically populate that account field. The first name and last name are populated based off of the display name a user puts when they set up their email address. And say you want to add some other fields here, you could hit expand, and you'll see a full list of all the fields that exist under contact. A nice feature too, you can pull that email message up side by side in case there's any information in the email that you want to use in populating this field here. Right? Okay, so that's adding a contact. We envision this list we imagine this list can get pretty long. A lot of people are sending a large number of emails or receiving a large number of emails every day. So one way, there's really going to be two ways here, but one way that you can shorten this list is if you see on the top here we have the search bar. You can do a quick search and that'll bring up the user you're looking for. So say I've had a conversation with Gail and this list was long and I needed to quickly add a lead or contact for Gail. I could look for Gail here in that search, add lead, and you're going to see the same form here that you saw with adding a contact. Again, required fields under lead would show up. And if you needed to add extra fields, you could hit expand, pull up the email message, and this is going to show that most recent email you've sent or received to this individual. And then populate those fields and go ahead and create a new lead. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's going to go right ahead and add a new lead, and now it's going to take that lead off of the recommended list there. Right. Okay. The other way that you can manage this queue of recommended leads and contacts is by hitting this drop down next to the add lead, add contact action items. And you'll see two options here. You have an ignore option and a dismiss option. The ignore option is going to add logic that says skip processing this email address going forward into the future, right? It doesn't mean that we're going to never upload emails when this email address is a party on that email. It just means that singular email address we won't process, okay? The dismiss, on the other hand, is a more temporary dismissal. It just says, maybe I can't make a decision right now if this person or this email address should be added as a lead or a contact. Let me clean up the queue here, dismiss this temporarily, and then you'll see this dismiss email address prompt, confirm, and then that'll reset and go away there. There's probably going to be more ignore rules being created in Match My Email now with this functionality. So in the top right, you see we have this icon, which will lead you directly to Match My Email's control panel. And this is an admin view. As an end user though, you would still have this ignores tab. So if you go under ignores as an admin or an end user, you can manage the whole list of ignores that you've created right there. And that's the gist of it. You know, it's straightforward. It's very similar to really the name of our game and our brand. We want to make Salesforce a better CRM. It shouldn't be this intimidating tool that people are afraid to get into and understand. And so we're bringing everybody this email sync assistant. If you are an active customer of Match My Email, then if you go into the description of this YouTube video, you'll see a link to a upgrade guide. It's going to be a quick process, honestly, 10 minutes, and you just have to upgrade your managed package in Salesforce and then put this Lightning Web Component on the Lightning record page layout that you want to have it assigned to. And then you're done. So really 10 minutes and you could have this thing up and running today. The other thing I'd mention is we have the links to some of our social sites. Please follow us. Follow our page on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. We are going to keep posting and try to use that more often for any future product updates. So while we're sending out emails, you can also find more information out about future updates through our social sites as well. I'm now going to open up the floor for any questions. I'm not seeing too many in the YouTube chat currently, but now's a good time if anybody has any thoughts on what I've just presented to put those into the chat group. And I know we had one softball question lined up just in case anybody asked, which is Salesforce is very customizable, and so actually before we released this, one of our beta testers asked, is this a customizable component? And the answer to that is yes. Some people do not use leads, or some people don't use contacts in their Salesforce. And so if you were to go into that, let's go into editing this here, that Lightning App Builder, you can customize this Lightning Web Component from the Lightning App Builder here. I think my face and the video is going to block, but underneath on the left-hand sidebar, you would have the option to add that Email Sync Assistant Lightning Web Component, which I've dragged, but my face is blocking. But it's already here, so we'll click on that. And then here's where I think most users will do any customization, which is taking away that lead button or taking away that contact button here. So there's that. Any improvement plan for viewing the body of the email in Salesforce rather than hovering over it? That's good feedback. This is helpful. And these are things that we're definitely going to put in on our product update. As far as hovering over the body, that hasn't bubbled up to the top of our development pipeline yet. But again, right, tally that into that column. And if you have more, Ben, please write us an email so we can really log all the details of that request. Okay. And for Jim's question, I'm not quite sure the deprecation of Lightning and Einstein AI impact this product. Einstein's still around, so I don't have a great answer for that on the fly. If you want to email, you can email me directly at broda@matchmyemail.com, and we can flush that question out afterwards. But I don't want to take up any more of folks' time here, so I will end this meeting. Again, it's going to be up on YouTube Live, so if you are interested in sending this out, rewatching it, looking it over, that's going to be available on YouTube pretty soon. Also on our support page, we have a how to use guide involved. So that's going to be up on our support page. If you just need a refresher on all the different functionalities of this tool, that'll be up there as well. Thank you everybody for joining. Really, we appreciate your support. If you're a customer, we appreciate your business, and we hope to continue delivering a great product going forward in the future. Be well.